December 2016. Italy's populist opposition is shaking up the establishment.
Signori, non perdete mai l'ironia, non prendetevi mai troppo sul serio, è quello che rompe i coglioni al mondo. Io vi abbraccio
They're days away from a referendum that could spell the end for the Italian government and make it the latest domino in a toppling international order. Around the world, populist leaders are connecting with voters fed up with politics as usual and exploiting anger at an establishment out of touch with ordinary people. But giving voice to people's frustrations is one thing, offering them real answers is quite another. Jeff Siegel grew up in New York, but moved to Italy 40 years ago.
Signorina, ha già deciso come votare domenica?
Sono ancora minorenne. Prossimo
Per la
anno.
prossima. Va bene, grazie.
He's trying to drum up support ahead of the referendum.
Avete già deciso come votare domenica? Posso lasciarvi in
Non ci vado neanche a votare.
No, ma si ferma un attimino.
Sì, ma non ci vado proprio a votare.
No, ma le sto chiedendo di... E questo è... The problem is here, the people who will abstain, they won't even go and vote and nullify the vote. They just won't show up. They say, I don't trust politicians anymore. Thank you, dishonest politician. This is what you've done to your democracy.
Like millions of Italian voters, Jeff has turned his back on mainstream political parties. He now campaigns for the populist Five-Star movement. It's sought to build a following less through policies and more by challenging everything about Italy's political class.
Non è vero.
Buongiorno a voi.
Quindi avete già deciso, vi siete già informati?
Noi siamo dei 5 Stelle. Bocca al lupo a voi. Arrivederci,
We want to make Italy a better place to live and work, but the way things are set up now, it's not constructive. We're victims. I think every Italian citizen is a victim, except the crooked politicians.
Five Star's anti-establishment message is resonating with voters. It is now Italy's biggest opposition party. The country has been crippled by recession and stagnating wages. With rates of inequality among the highest in Europe, many people feel left behind by globalization and let down by political leaders. Now, the populists sense there may be an opportunity to bring those leaders down. A referendum on constitutional reform has become a vote of confidence in the ruling elite. Prime Minister Matteo Renzi has said he will resign if the country votes no.
Il sì non serve a rafforzare il governo, serve a rafforzare l'Italia.
He's the latest mainstream politician to find himself in the firing line. Tonight, thousands of Five-Star supporters are gathering at a rally in Turin. Some are starting to ask what they might do with success.
People want to hear what we have to say. You can't just be in the opposition. You have to do positive things, things that we say we want to do for the people, for the citizens, to change things, and you have to do it.
A questa riforma noi diciamo no.
Virginia Raggi is one of the first leaders of Five-Star to win power. As the new mayor of Rome, she's already under pressure to offer actual solutions.
Ma non è vero che noi siamo per il no, noi siamo per il sì a tante cose, sia al reddito di cittadinanza, sia allo sviluppo di progetti concreti per dare più lavoro alle persone, sia uno sviluppo che sia ecosostenibile, sia alle energie rinnovabili. Siamo pronti a governare.
But Raggi is just the warm-up act. There's one man that everyone has turned out to see. Five-Star's leader and showman, Beppe Grillo. A former stand-up comedian, Grillo knows the buttons to press. It's his appeal to people's emotions that has helped turn Five Star into a real force.
Quando ti innamori, quando odi, senti tutto qua. Io ne so qualcosa prima di entrare su un palco. Sento qui, non qui. Sento qui. E allora?
Beppe Grillo has vowed to get rid of political parties, but he certainly knows how to start one.
Il blues del no! È il blues del no! No, 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 è il blues del no! È il blues del no!
Grillo's success has come through impassioned charges against the corrupt elites and global forces he blames for Italy's woes. But Five Star's leaders may soon have a harder note to hit. The question of how they would tackle unemployment and inequality. 2 days after the rally, Italians overwhelmingly voted no in the referendum. Prime Minister Renzi made good on his promise to stand down. It's another victory for populism, as across the world, charismatic leaders defy expectations. They're finding success, selling deceptively simple answers to difficult questions.
Our country is going to start building and making things again. America first, again, America first.
They almost always blame the failings of free trade and mass migration for rising inequality. But is this the right target? Few cities are immune to the uneven impact of globalization. But here in San Francisco, there's another more conspicuous driver of change. It's not just trade that's transforming the global economic order, it's technology. The latest venture from a San Francisco startup has the potential to turn one of America's most iconic industries on its head. Last year, Uber paid $680 million for Otto, a company whose technology could fundamentally change trucking forever. It allows a truck to drive down a highway with nobody at the wheel. The company claims it could save the industry billions of dollars a year, reduce emissions by a third, and eliminate the driver errors that cause up to 87% of truck crashes. But this bright-sounding future has a dark side. A series of studies have found technology, not globalization, to be the biggest driver of inequality in developed countries. There are 3.5 million people employed in trucking in America. And with their industry seemingly the next in line for automation, many face an uncertain future. Robert Callista has driven trucks since the 1980s. Both his parents were truck drivers before him.
This job has fed my family. It's kept a roof over my family the whole time I've drove. It's my home on home. This is Peterbilt, and he was named after a truck called Peterbilt. You look at California, they're chasing so many of us companies out here, not just trucking companies, manufacturing companies, small business people. They're running us out of the state. You know, I deliver in Silicon Valley to several of the big computer companies. They're just more educated. They're there for themselves. They want the money. They don't want us. I voted for Trump because I wanted to change. Basically telling the country, well, California, New York, we're sorry, but you don't control the country no more.
Populist leaders have been able to capitalize on a growing sense of them and us as inequality grows in Western democracies. Wealthy California has become one of the most economically unequal states in America, as technology has displaced many lower-skilled jobs. Russell Hancock runs a think tank in Silicon Valley, sponsored by some of the state's biggest tech companies.
In recent years, something has changed. Silicon Valley companies used to be heroes, superheroes even. Now they're being cast as villains in this story. Silicon Valley is starting to be tainted with the same kind of paint that's been painted on Wall Street, for example. People are wondering why Silicon Valley's companies aren't doing more to address poverty and to address the income inequality in our region.
An alienated public turned on the establishment because it failed to provide answers. As some tech giants become as powerful as that establishment, it's a lesson they're starting to learn. So they're going back to school. If technological change is part of the problem, the people behind it are asking how they can offer solutions.
You've probably heard about self-driving cars because you live in San Francisco. There are already people building self-driving trucks, which means 3 million truck drivers are going to be out of work.
Hadi Partovi is the CEO of Code.org. Backed by some of Silicon Valley's biggest firms, he campaigns for children to be taught computer science in schools.
Now, truck driving is just one example of types of work that are going to get replaced by computers and software. We've all learned in the last few months, whether it's Americans with the election, or whether it's in the UK with the Brexit, or really worldwide, there's really an angst about opportunity. People around the world want opportunity. They want the idea that if you work hard, the system will reward you. So the real question is, how do we bring opportunity back? If you think about our education system, at all ages, we're not preparing today's kids for what the jobs of the future are going to be. We're not even in a situation to prepare today's adults for the jobs of the future. Technology is changing all around us, so as adults, we need to be lifelong learners. It's something that can start in high school or even in elementary or middle school, continue through university. And then the hardest part is setting up programs to retrain today's adults as they find that they want to get into a better job, or if they lose their job due to automation.
It will need help from governments and business to ensure retraining isn't an option reserved for those with the time and resources. Technology itself can help too. Sebastian Thrun used to be in charge of Google's self-driving car project. Now he runs an education company offering quick training programs online.
In the past, one education was sufficient for your lifetime, and your first job usually was your last job. Today, the typical job tenure here in the United States is less than 5 years. Technology on top of it is moving faster than ever before. So whatever education you have is outdated faster. And to make matters worse, we live longer. What we should provide for the people in the world is an education that keeps them current so they can be employable.
An ongoing online education could be one way to start relieving the pressure on people who today feel left behind. Because in the long run, technology has the potential to create more jobs than it destroys.
We had about 300 years of crazy technology development already that transformed jobs. Some people fear change. Obviously, change spills uncertainty. What's my job going to look like? Is my personal job being secure in the future? I would love to engrave in people's brain a positive attitude, because it's always gotten better in the past.
For too many people in Western democracies, progress is still something that happens to other people. Wealth does not spread itself. An underclass appears beyond help. Finding a way to reconnect with them and provide an alternative to populism will be at the top of the agenda for the political and business leaders of tomorrow.